Chapter 13, solutions. In chemistry, we use the word solution a little different than in regular life. We don't necessarily use it as the answer to a problem. But a solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. Do you remember what homogeneous meant? The same. Okay, so this is a mixture where it's very uniform. And there's not parts that are more concentrated or less concentrated. There aren't any chunks or floating things or anything like that. Solutions are very common. Most of the liquids and gases that we encounter every day are actually solutions. The ocean is a solution. It's water, but it's got salt and other solids dissolved in it. The plasma in your blood, you take the cells out, the blood cells out, and what you've got left with is a clearish fluid. It's got a little bit of a color to it, but it's not blood red. But it's a solution, and it's got several different solids as well as some gases dissolved in it, with most of it being water. We can make solutions or homogeneous mixtures from any combination of the three states of matter. So here's a table that gives us some examples here. You can have a gas solution, a gas mixed with a gas, such as air. Air is mostly oxygen and nitrogen. You can have liquid solutions. These are more common, where the solvent is a liquid, and you can dissolve a gas in a liquid, you can dissolve another liquid in a liquid, or you can dissolve a solid in a liquid. So these examples, soda water, vodka, which is ethanol in water, or seawater. We can also have solid solutions. Brass. Brass is a metal, but it's not an element. It's not on the periodic table. It's actually an alloy, which is a homogeneous mixture or a solution of two or more metals. Stainless steel is also a solution. It's a homogeneous mixture. Now you can't make alloys by just putting two metals next to each other and have them mix. You need to melt them and get them into a liquid state first and then mix them. But then when they solidify, they don't form separate little crystals or chunks or anything. They stay homogeneous. So a solution has at least two components, the solvent and the solute. So a solution will have one solvent, and generally we say that's the substance that is present in greater amount. So whatever there's the most of, we generally call the solvent. And then the solute are all the other components that are there in smaller amount. There could be one solute, there could be 50 solutes, but there's always one solvent. If we have a solid liquid solution, we generally consider the liquid to be the solvent, even if there's more of the solid. When I hear the word solvent, I think of, paint thinner or turpentine on the shelf in the garage, right? The solvents, they dissolve things, industrial solvents and dangerous chemicals and things like that, but most of those are liquids. So usually the solvent is a liquid. Water is very abundant on Earth, and it's also a very good solvent. We sometimes call it a universal solvent because it dissolves lots and lots of things. And that's because it's polar. When something is dissolved in water, we say it's an aqueous solution. And that's a word we've seen before when we were talking about aqueous ions and things. That means it's dissolved in water. There are lots of other solvents. Some are used in the lab, some in industry, some in your home. The other ones are generally used for nonpolar solutes. And here's an important idea, and it doesn't explain everything, but it helps us to predict some things. Like dissolves like. Oh, that's not the color I want. I want something I can actually see. Like dissolves like. And what this means is that polar solvents tend to dissolve polar solutes, and nonpolar solvents tend to dissolve nonpolar solutes. So these are some common solvents that are used in the lab. Water, acetone, methyl alcohol, they're all polar. And we see they've got oxygen in them. Acetone is also commonly used in the home as fingernail polish remover. Because fingernail polish is nonpolar and water doesn't dissolve it, which is great when you've just gotten your nails done and you go to wash your hands because you've got chicken blood on them or something from cooking. You're happy that the fingernail polish doesn't come off with water. But then later, when you want to change the polish, how do you get it off? Well, you need a solvent. You need a specialized solvent that's going to dissolve that particular solute. Some common nonpolar solvents are hexane, diethyl ether, toluene. Things you might have encountered would include like turpentine, paint thinner. Those tend to be nonpolar. Gasoline can be used as a solvent. A lot of those tend to be flammable as well, so they're kind of dangerous.